Most people think, oh, you're in a wheelchair, Bert. Joy was probably your therapist, and that was not the case in our courtship and how we met. So go ahead, Bert.
Well, I was a sales rep for a medical supply company in Atlanta, and I hired other sales reps, and all the people I hired were guys and gals in wheelchairs. So I would call the rehab center in the local territory and talk to the therapist and get them to refer somebody to me out in the community that was outgoing, good for sales. So I called the Rehab Institute of Kansas City, got Joy on the phone, and she helped me out a lot, gave me a bunch of names and numbers. So I flew to Kansas City.
So all during those calls for about a month, I was thinking, this guy seems nice, and he said, hey, want to go out, and so I can thank you for everything you've done for me with all these contacts. And I'm thinking, free expense account. I was 24, didn't have a lot of money, so I was super excited to go to a nice dinner when he came.
So I got to Kansas City, and I'm rolling into the rehab center and rolled in her office, and there was this young lady sitting in the corner with her back to me, and I said, Joy? And she turned around, had this big, beautiful smile on her face, and I said to myself, I'm gonna marry that girl.
I wasn't quite sure that soon, but I thought it's gonna be a nice date. So we went out that night, had a great date. Definitely, I broke a date the next day, did a date him the next day, and we started a long distance courtship. From August to about December, we flew back and forth to each other's homes. We met at different wheelchair races so I could watch him compete. He mailed me perfume and chocolates, and talk about whining and dining a woman and making her fall for you. He knows how to do it. So finally, the end of December, I moved to Atlanta, and that's when it got even more interesting.
Well, I'd grown up in Orlando, and I've been to Disney World tons of times. And Joy had never been to Disney World. So I thought, what I'm gonna do is take her to Disney World, and we spent the whole day there. I had dinner planned at Cinderella's castle, and I went through a bunch of different Cinderellas, but finally one fell in love with my story, and she was to deliver the ring to the table.
So we're sitting there at dinner, and Cinderella comes over to our table with a silver domed platter. And she comes over and says, Joy, we have a special dessert for you. She takes off the dome, and inside is a glass slipper with a little velvet pillow inside of it with the most beautiful engagement ring slipped over it.
She handed me the glass slipper. I took the ring off and I said, Joy, you're my princess. I want you to be my queen. Will you marry me?
At that moment, I said yes, and the whole restaurant started cheering for us, and he had hired a photographer to capture the whole thing, so he had pictures of that, and it was literally like pinch me Disney magical moment. So that was December 31st, and 6 months later, on June 9th, we got married. And here is our wedding. It was an amazing day in Colorado, and just obviously one of the happiest days of our life. So that's It's a Burns Life for today. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.